Welcome back to Copenhagen Blue. Today we are working on the new to us, as in our family, 2011 Dodge Journey RT. It's got a 3.6 liter, 6-speed transmission, and has about 104,000 miles on it. Car definitely needs some work. Today we're going to do a suspension refresh. We're going to do front struts. I did complete struts instead of doing just the cartridges because of the mileage. Plus quick struts are just easier. Ball joints. And down the line we have spark plugs, the boots, we have the transmission fluid and filter, and then we have the solenoid for the variable oil pump that is setting a fault but not setting a check engine light. We need to take care of that so they can have remote start in the winter. But follow along as I get everything done. We're going to start out today on the front end and we'll just keep moving our way along. Let's get started. So let's take a look under the car here. I can feel a clunk in the right front, so I've assumed that either I had a bad stabilizer link or possibly lower ball joint. And once you start moving it around, back and forth pulling on the wheel, you can see that little bit of movement with the ball joint down there. So that's probably our clunk. Should be, hopefully, fairly easy to get that out. And then we're going to be taking a bunch of stuff off. We're going to soak it down with a little bit of PB Blaster here. Get everything comfy and ready to come apart. To take off our axle nut here, we have a 32 millimeter. It looks like that's going to push out pretty easily. In order to get off the caliper, we're actually just going to take the whole bracket assembly off. At some point, I'm going to end up lubricating these slides here to make sure that the brakes are moving really well. But we have a 21 millimeter here for that bolt, and a 21 there as well. Now that we're taking our actual caliper bracket off, I'm going to go up through one of the coils on the strut, and we're just going to hang this here so it's out of the way. We need to take off the nut for the outer tie rod end. Looks like we're looking at an 18 millimeter. Make sure to have some penetrating oil and go back and forth after cleaning the threads, so that way the nut doesn't stick or jam. You can see that this builds up a lot of heat, and even with me using penetrating oil, I still run the risk of the nut getting stuck onto the threads and then having to actually replace the outer tie rod end. So take your time and have patience. Alright, so we got our tie rod out. We can just set that off to the side. Next we're going to take off the 21 millimeter bolts that hold the lower portion of the strut on. Because I moved the nut out to the end, we don't mushroom the end of the actual bolt itself. Probably should have done it a little while ago, but I'm going to take out the 13 millimeter bolts that are for the brake line itself. We have the 10 millimeter nut for the ABS sensor. Now you have to be careful taking an ABS sensor out. They can get stuck to the housing. So hopefully just a little wiggling and this one will come right out. Contrary to what I thought, there was no amount of wiggling that was going to get this thing back out of here. I had used some penetrating oil a couple times. I had to pull off the heat shield for the backing plate for the brakes, and then just lots and lots of gentle prying all the way around, trying to scrape off some of the rust, but finally I was able to get both wheel speed sensors out. Let's take care of our lower ball joint bolt, and then we'll be able to take the whole spindle off. Looks like bolt size, we're dealing with an 18. Okay, so we've gotten our axle shaft out. All that we have left is the lower bolt here for the ball joint. We're going to whack onto the actual control arm itself and try and break it free. Cover your ears. Alright, that works. It was pretty much about the third ratchet that I realized at this point I had screwed up. Wrong way. Probably should have gotten that bolt off first. Might have made things a little harder for myself. Might have? Let me speed this up for you. Ho ho ho. Did we get lucky? I think we did. Awesome possum. Ho ho ho. Alright. There we go. We do have to get our snap ring off. I know that. Go to a bigger screwdriver. There we go. So we used the screwdriver to get to this side of the clip. There we go. So I got that clip off. A little bit of corrosion on there. Now we're really going to soak this down because that's where our problems are going to be next. What we have to try and do is pretty much beat this all the way out of the knuckle itself. Not easy, I don't think. I did rent a ball joint tool. Maybe I can use that to get it started. But damn, I don't think it's going to be easy. So I guess let's give it a couple whacks and see what happens. That's a lot of rust. Ooh, maybe. Holy crap. Wow. Seems like just whacking it with a hammer is about the best way to go. I want something to get it the rest of the way. Once the hammer can't do it anymore. I need like something, I guess. Holy shit, that worked. Oh, crap. Oh, got it. Placement that we got is a Mevotech. Comes with a new snap ring. Comes with a Zerk fitting on it. So that means it's greasable, which is nice. I make no guarantees that this works. Probably should be wearing safety glasses. Looks kind of like it's going off a little bit, one way or the other. Let's go outside and try the press. Okay, so yeah, this is some sketchy shit. It's not. Okay, no arguments there. Fully seated. Cool. So we're gonna put the boot on. We'll put this cover over. Just give it a couple taps. And it's installed. So I put this one on, and this is supposed to be what goes on, but I didn't like how it went in there and grabbed. So I think I'm gonna actually try and put this style on. That definitely seats way better. I like that a lot more. We have our Zerk fitting that we have to put on. It looks like it's just a 10 millimeter. Perfect. Cool. Worked out better than I planned. One of the issues that we had when we were trying to get the car apart was that wheel speed sensor. So I took a little bit of sandpaper here. We're going to just go down the hole and kind of spin it around and clean that up. Should make things a little easier for install. It was a pain in the ass, but I got the sway bar links off. Is that the hot one? Or is that the hot one? One of them's the hot one. I had to use the torch on both. Actually weren't that bad. They weren't blown out. So I probably didn't need to replace them, but since I'm here and I'm doing the strut, I might as well do them right now because I already got them. So we're gonna go and take the upper bolts out. We have 1, 2, and the third one down here for the upper strut. And that'll allow us to drop the whole assembly, and then we can start reassembly. We have a 15 millimeter for the upper bolts for the strut. One was easy. Try and remove these. Feeling I'm gonna have to do all of them. Not what I want to do. So there's a bunch of little clips all along the cowl. You have to remove 2 different cowls to get to it, but then that'll give me the access I need to this back and loosen up that bolt that I need. It's actually a nut.
I can tell you right now, if I had to do this over again, just remove the strut brace. When I did the other side, I removed the strut brace. It's literally 4 bolts. It makes your life way easier. So just take the time and get those 4 bolts off, and then you can get to the 3 nuts for the strut. Super easy.
Finally, as we remove our last nut up top, our whole strut assembly will drop out. Well, this is the new strut. Definitely a lot prettier, that's for damn sure. We're gonna get that put up inside. We'll tighten up these nuts up here that it came with that are new, and we'll start putting everything back together. I think I might just do a time lapse on it since we already know how to undo it all.
I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can't and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want.
Now that everything's put back together, we have our new strut on. I was going to do outer and inner tie rod, but they're actually really in good shape and there's not any excessive play, so I'm going to leave those alone for right now. We did a sway bar link, and then we did our lower ball joint, as you can see on the back side there. Hopefully the car rides a little better. We're going to go into the other side now, but I'm not taking you along for that because it's pretty much duplication of this side. So if you want to see how to do the other side, rewind this video and play it again. Well, that's going to do it for me. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time.